Hi, welcome. I am back after a little bit of a break, which was nice. I needed that. I hope everybody out there is doing good. Yay. Got myself a new little backdrop back here because I thought it was fun and I just love this one. That's cute. And I was also kind of thinking it'll help when I dive into the astrological stuff to have a bit of a little star reference back there. Yeah, so speaking of, today is the full moon in Aquarius. I feel like a meteorologist. Over here, where it's nice and sunny, posed with windy. Anyway, yeah, so we've got the full moon in Aquarius, and that is like right across the street from Leo. And so we've actually got that kind of dynamic energy of retreating from the limelight, which is Leo, like being center stage, that all attention focus and into the energy of more humanitarian serving for all and on a unique basis though. So this full moon is really about how our own individual healing, our own on our own journey healing actually is good for all of us. So that it is not selfish. It's completely selfless to do healing on yourself. So that's what this big full moon is all about. A super full moon too. So it's like the closest that it's going to be to Earth for a while. So in the night sky, it's probably going to look really huge while coming up on the horizon. So I really hope to see that because it's incredibly beautiful. So enjoy that tonight, wherever you might be. And the other thing is that we're right here in the opening of the Lionsgate portal. And the Lionsgate portal is August 8th, 8/8. And it is all like it again, most of these things are about us finding ourselves, coming home to ourselves, finding our sovereignty, our own personal power, healing ourselves. It's that like put the gas mask on before trying to heal anyone else. That kind of energy, because it is so vital for you to be your best shiny self before you can be your best shiny self for anyone else. Like it starts with you. All that bright shininess, it infuses your energy before it touches anybody else's energy. And so the focus right now is inside, but all of that healing that is inside, how does it have a ripple effect? And how do we actually see it taking shape and taking form outside? So the Lionsgate portal is yet another time it is rooted in history going back to the ancient Egyptian days when this would be the time of year where their agricultural season would be beginning, and the floodwaters would be ready to go, and this would be the time where they knew that crops were going to reemerge and that it was going to feed them and carry them through the next year. So this is a time of fertility, a time of richness, what nourishes you, what makes you grow personally and helps you thrive. So this is a time of year where the the star Sirius is also rising on the horizon at the same time as the sun. And so that is something beautiful to see. And that was one of the time markers of these ancient people, and how when they saw this star rising with the sun, they knew that it marked something special, something new, and the mark of renewal and, yeah, resurrection. So for us, it's summertime in the Northern Hemisphere. And so it is bright, it is shiny, it is hot. And I hope everybody is doing well with all the heat waves that were going around. And I'm not sure if they still are or not, because I honestly just kind of curled up in my little cocoon over here, dissolved into my own nothingness, and allowed myself to just detoxify from all distractions outside. And it was so needed, so very, very needed. So giving yourself some permission to turn off all the distractions that keep you unnecessarily busy, because there's a certain amount of busy that keeps you thriving, and then there's also unnecessary stuff that you don't need to keep yourself occupied with. So I disentangled myself with all things that were not helping me thrive, and really just focused inside, went deep inside to find out what was going on in there. And there was a lot going on in there. So yeah, I can't wait to hear how everybody out there is doing, and how this full moon is going to serve you, how it's going to fit you and your growth. And that honestly, it doesn't depend on the moon at all. Like, you are growing despite where the moon is, regardless of what sign anything is in. You are still growing, and you are still learning more and more about yourself. So yeah, astrology is a beautiful tool, but it too can become a distraction. So yeah, with that being said, maybe we just dive right into the reading. Let's see what the cards have to say to us today. Knowing that everything that comes from the cards really is just us talking to ourselves, reflected in imagery and poetry. It helps us connect to that piece of ourselves that is nonverbal and is instinctual in nature. It helps us reconnect with the part of ourselves that is so deeply intuitive and wise, and so beautiful. So let's go ahead and tap into that side of ourselves and see what comes through for this full moon and this Lionsgate portal. What's going to come through from that master side of ourselves that's already been there and already did that? Let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay, so what just came through is the sword. The sword. And the first things that I see is this imagery of balance. There's so much balance, but then there's also this cutting, this like right down the middle, cutting the lightning too, which is a fascinating thought of cutting the lightning. And the thing that comes to mind with that is this balancing act, and actually seeing, this is going to sound interesting, but actually seeing different neurons, different like neurological pathways that are actually getting disentangled from one another, where perhaps this has been your train of thought, and it is so carved into matter, into the sky, etched in that lightning bolt. And it has been there probably in your awareness longer than you possibly can remember. that it just has always been. And that is getting cut. As in, not in a bad way. I actually feel that this is really, really beneficial. However, that lightning, I feel, is pretty shocking. And so when there is this like snip, there might be a bit of a rebound of like, but then you gain your balance again of, oh, actually that's actually something good that's gone now. That's a mental pathway that didn't serve me. That actually was such an ingrained pathway and I didn't realize it, but all it was causing was suffering. And so ending that path, deciding that that actually is not the mental pathway you want in your life anymore. So that is kind of that's the big picture of what we're entering right now. And so these kind of moments can happen all over the place. And I actually see this as it's interesting because this came up earlier today with obsessive patterns of thought, and that this actually is some validation saying those patterns of thought can actually start melting away. It does seem like this is going to be very like clear, cut, and dry. That perhaps when that thought pattern reemerges, it'll be like, oh, there it is again. And it'll be a little bit glaring, a little shocking. Like, yeah. This definitely has some like the Two of Swords energy, that balancing. I really like this card actually. It feels severe, but it also has so like a lot of light. And that dark actually is so super duper beneficial to us. So the other thing that's coming through here is that perhaps, this pathway of the mind is once that's actually cut, we're going to sleep better. Yeah, that's actually what I'm feeling is that this is a thought pattern that comes up around 2 in the morning for a lot of us. That 2, 3 in the morning energy where you're up and you're worried about everything and you can't do anything about it because it's 3 in the morning. That feeling right there. When you wake up at 2, 3 in the morning with that repetitive worried stuff thought, that's just coming up to be cut. And just notice it, see that it's happening, become aware. Like, hey, oh, you are in that awareness. You're strong enough now to become aware when that happens. And so flip it. Just say, oh, okay, there's that thought again. That's that process. Notice it, let it pass, come out the other side. And take a deep breath. Take a freaking deep breath. Everybody, take a deep breath. Just as soon as you do that, you realize you can't think, right? Those mental pathways stop. You actually can't really have those ongoing permanent thoughts while you're taking a conscious deep breath. That's why it's such a useful tool. That's why all these different yogis and gurus and teachers use the breath because it helps you come into your awareness of the present moment immediately. It's such an immediate tool. And that's that sword energy, immediate tool. So use that breath to cut that thought. And and also it's that razor sharp awareness. So this is a really powerful card. And honestly, the messages keep coming through from this one, but I am eager to keep going. So let's go ahead. And I love these cute little cards with all of these sweet little messages. These are also archetype cards, but in a different, more playful, sweet, childlike way, which I personally love. So let's go ahead and pull from another archetype card. Oh, there we go. Okay, interesting because this little bag that I keep my sweet little archetype cards, also just because this is just what happened. I was at work, we had many, many little charms there. I don't know if you can see them, but little charms. And a charm fell out while I was doing this, and it's a stapler, a little stapler. I'll see what comes through about that because I think that's cute, and I wonder why a stapler came out. Here's the archetype, outlaw. I'll read it. Take on the day with real power. Be a revolutionary. Use your ideas well. Feel all of the leadership and courage you have in you. And if you think about an outlaw, it's outside the bounds of what society has deemed correct and what society has said, this is how we do things. And it lives outside of that. It's a bit of a trickster. It's a rebel. It's a pirate. It's the one that says that lifestyle doesn't work for me and I need to do something else. And so these thoughts pretty much programmed by society, if you think about that, of how you must be, what you need to do, how how A connects to Z, all these different things. And the image of the outlaw is actually coming through cutting those ties, because now isn't the time to follow everybody's suggestions of how you need to be and live and operate in this world. This is actually you coming into your own authority of, actually, I don't feel that that's true for me. I actually feel like I need to do things a different way. And that actually is revolutionary, and it's taking your power back. And so I do love that they both have that little crescent moon. I feel like that's that subconscious, growing, illuminating light in the dark coming back online. That's your light coming back online after a long time of being in the dark and of, having this pathway deeply entrenched and kind of has run its course and now running amok. So interesting. Nothing's coming through from the stapler yet. We'll see if this even comes into the reading. But it is just kind of funny that it fell out of the bag at the same time. It's kind of cute. It's almost as if, this cutting, we come through and we staple it back together, but in the way that we choose. Because, this is us sewing, because sewing is just the joining of two things. There's many things. Hand stitching with thread is sewing. Welding is sewing. It is putting two things together, fusing them together to become one. And so the stapler is kind of that to become one kind of feeling, but it's in your hand, stapling your future back together in the way that you choose. And it doesn't have to be the way anybody has done it before. In fact, it won't be like anybody did it before, because you are brand new and you are changing things. That's why you're here. You're here to shake it up, change it up, radically dissolve all that came before from your ancestors, and all all of this old world stuff is just ready to be shaken up. And you're coming out the other side, making something new and special happen. This is a revolution of consciousness. So, and you're part of it, lucky you. You are part of it. You signed up to be here at this time of the world changing. And isn't that freaking exciting. So even with stuff that is going on that seems like it's crazy when we see things fall apart and old ways are cut into pieces, but that's the way new ideas and concepts emerge. I mean, so if you think back of so many different revolutionaries, they were all radicals, and most of them were outlaws, cut out of society in one way or another, or thought that they were insane, or all these different words that make one feel like they don't belong. And the truth is, fuck that. Why do we need to belong to something that is no longer fitting? So it's time to just loosen the grip on feeling like you need to belong, because the truth is that right now, if you don't feel like you belong, it's because you're here to do something new. And it might feel a little bit lonely, but you will find the people that are doing it with you. So, and if you're here, I'm doing it with you, and we're all doing it together. And little by little, there won't really need to be this feeling of, oh, I need to belong to something, because you belong to you and I belong to me. And together we're doing something infinitely beautiful. And it doesn't really matter if we're doing it at exactly the same time in exactly the same way. Because when we meet up, we'll probably just laugh about how hysterically crazy this ride has been. And in order to do that, we need to have our own stories. So I'm excited to hear your stories someday in the future when I see you. So let's go ahead and pull from, because that got cosmic. Let's go ahead and pull from the Starseed Oracle. And let's, oh, oh, oh. I do love when that happens. They just fall out. The messages, it just deepens. So we've got cracked open, and it says rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Surrender to the alchemy of life. Sometimes you really need to just dissolve into a puddle of nothing before you can become something. And don't think that being a puddle of nothing is worthless. Like, it's actually supremely beautiful to melt and dissolve into absolute nothing and then come back. And here's the second card, is the earth pulsing. So one of the ways to really get through this whole process of cutting old habits, being okay outside, and not feeling like you belong, is really coming back into going back to nature. Nature doesn't care what society is saying or what it's doing. Nature is always loving, it's present, it's there, it's neutral. It just lovingly accepts you, no matter where you are on your journey, no matter what it is that you're suffering through or trying to figure out or trying to do, or how cracked open you are. The earth will continue to hold you in your process. And so that's why, with all this talk of grounding and being in nature, well, it's not for nothing. It's because that is the one place where it doesn't really matter what's going on around you. You can melt into that, and it is unconditional love where you can be supported, and you come out a lot stronger when you build your foundation on something as strong as earth. I mean, we don't have anything in our reality that isn't built on earth. That's, it's strong. Like our buildings, the foundation, the ground floor is the ground. So do that for your body as well. And do that for, the different things that you're creating. Give them a firm foundation. Give them a structure. But that structure really comes from you, not in this ingrained thought pathway. Remember, this little stapler is coming in. So you're stapling this little reality together the way you desire. And so get the support that you actually need from nature, because it's going to show up in the way that you need it most. And so that's maybe carving out a little bit of time of your week, to get outside and just reboot. Shut down your mental computer. Turn it off, restart. See this person laying down. It just feels like such deep surrender. And then you've got this like river waterfall pouring straight into this person laying there. I just feel like this person is in this process of just being like, okay, Earth, just fill me up. Thank you. And allow it to do that. Just really, like, that's the most important part. Allowing your natural healing ability, Earth's natural healing ability, to actually fill you up. And that it doesn't come from an outside source. It comes from you. You are filling yourself up. You are Earth, right? So when we go out, we lay in the grass, we're basically just connecting to our natural processes, and slowing down to the rhythm of our own deep healing. So I do love this little book. I've been reading passages from this now and then with you guys, and I feel that it is so beautiful. So we'll go ahead and do a little bibliomancy. I like that I have the sun and the moon just kind of hanging out on my shoulder, watching. Okay, here we go. So this is the author, Young Pueblo, in the book Inward. And they say, how to improve your life. Step 1, make self-love a top priority. Step 2, learn a self-healing technique. Step 3, create space for daily healing on yourself. 4, know that everything changes. And 5, be kind, loving, and honest to all. And that right there is basically what we were talking about with this reading. Cut those mental pathways that have not been loving to yourself. It's cracking you open. Like these two are so linked. So this is the cutting of the mental pathway. This is what happens right after, cracked open. But we're not just cracked open to allow more mass consciousness in of how we've been basically drilled and told how to be and act in the world. This is actually an opening, a cracking open, and allowing your cosmic consciousness to come through, the bigger part of you that already knows the way that you most function, what most nourishes you, what most is loving to you. And in this could be so many different things, a job that doesn't serve, a relationship that doesn't serve, like so many different things, or just simply the thoughts of I don't deserve this, or I don't, like I'm not enough, like all those thoughts that are not loving to you. But look at this juxtaposition where it's cracked open. That cracking open is essential. So you can see this as like just opening it up to the bigger you, the masterful side of you, the side that's already wise beyond comprehension and already knows exactly the healing that you need. And so cracking open to really feel into that And that sometimes can be, maybe you have, this actually is making me feel that dreams, I love dreams, and I do feel that dreams are going to be very important around this time with the new moon and uh, this beautiful um, cosmic portal that we have right now. That is, it's basically a cosmic portal because of the work that all of us are doing in cracking open. Have you noticed long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, nobody was talking about the Lion's Gate portal? No. Did it exist back then? Sure, sure it did. But was it important? Not really, because cosmic consciousness can only really happen with our consciousness. So our awareness is making these dates, these portals, these numerological times, these astrological times, making them important and making them infused with that energy that motivates us more. Um, if all of us were more in tune with like the high and low tides of the ocean, then that would be what we're talking about instead of the stars. But right now, in our awareness, we're really tuned in with astrology and stars and numerology and all this stuff. So let that propel you forward. And then later down the road, when we become more excited about high and low tide, we'll talk about that instead. So, let's see. I have been getting a kick out of these cards. These have been really fun. So we'll pull one of these. It kind of looks like we're doing some very mystical oracle work in a diner. Why not, right? Let's, do you have to be mystical just in a certain setting? Why not do it at Denny's? So yeah, whatever. There is no reason that mystical nature needs to be stuffed in a little box that looks a certain way. So yeah. So let's see. Ooh, the unknown. Okay. Let's see what else we get. Okay, the unknown, the process, and create. I like this. Okay, so the first card we got was the unknown. So that outlaw and all of this, the cracking open, the outlaw, it's all about breaking from the known and stepping into the unknown, uncharted territory. Outlaw goes into the outskirts, you know, in so many different ways. Either it ran away from society's laws, restrictions, or it was banished. It was told never to come back, you know. But either way, that pushes them out into the unknown. And being pushed out into the unknown, it forces you to create. There's really no choice in the matter. When you're in the unknown, all you can do is create. Create what? It is completely unknown until it is created. And so that really is up to you. What are you going what are you inspired to create out in that unknown? And then here's the part of trusting the process of your creation. And so we've got the pen, which feels very much like little bit like the ace, where it's that new spark. It's just the potential, the seed of potential. It's create. There's nothing that has been created already. But then we have this card where we have that person holding a pen, pencil, and you've got that star that's mirrored in many of these different, like that unknown and then again here in create. And so you've got that spark, but it is the process. And here again, we've got that crescent moon. Interesting. So what I'm feeling with this, with crescent moon, is pretty much across the board, crescent moon on here, all these cards. So I'm kind of curious to see what we will create. This is full moon. What will happen when we actually emerge out the other side to new moon and we're in that itty bitty brand new, brand brand spanking new uh the next moon. So in 1 month from now, the process. So we've got kind of a process unfolding right now. And in 1 month's time, perhaps something new will be created. But right now we don't quite know it, but we need to step out and trust that. See how this walkway is actually, it is floating. It is floating in the ethers. I kind of remember that I will never forget Indiana Jones when I was a kid because it was what I wanted to be Indiana Jones. But there's that part where he like steps out into nothing and then there's the steps there. So I kind of feel like that's us. Like step out into the nothing, into the unknown. Trust the process of not knowing where you're going, but that you are in the act of creation the entire time, just by you existing and just by you cutting these different long trenched mental pathways, that you are actually in the act of creation anyway. Even if you feel like, oh well, I haven't actually made anything, or I haven't been productive, I haven't written, I haven't painted, I haven't made anything. Well, it's not necessarily about that. It's about the creation that's happening in you. You are an act of creation as well. And so, even if that's not a physical outpouring of something that you're producing that other people can see, this is happening on such a deep quantum level that that act of trusting the process is trusting yourself and trusting this unraveling of old and allowing that new to just emerge, because it's really just it's emerging not from out here. Nobody is giving this to you. This is coming from you. It's your own, it's your own like energetic truth coming through. It's that, look at the cosmos being birthed from the inside of her. That is what's going on here. And that we're really being told to trust the process of us recreating ourselves. So, and that this month really is, this is going to be a rather intense, but also like probably a really mystical month. So I always love, like, this is reminding me also to journal about the synchronicities and the thoughts that come up, those revelations and different ideas. Like this even has the word idea, different ideas that pop into your head, pop into your heart. Okay. And I think the very, very last thing that we're gonna do, because I do so love their input, is from that Fae realm, from the fairies. We'll pull one of these and see. I just love the back of these cards so much because it's these two hearts. It's like the union, and then right here is that birthing of something new. So I love that that's on the back of the cards. It's always meant a lot to me. Oh, oh, beautiful. The Green Man. Isn't he so cool? The Green Man. And I like this version of the Green Man. He a little bit makes me think of like a catfish a little bit with the roots, the ivies growing out from him. And look at his eyes. They're just so they're they see right through all of that BS. And they see right past all your masks, all the things that keep you looking like you're a normal, regular person. But he sees straight into your magical essence, your magical nature, that outlaw nature, straight into your soul. He can see it. He can see how beautiful you are. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he has to say. So the green man, irresistible life force, virility, and awe. If the lord of the forest is the supreme overseer of Faerie and the forest, then the green man is the forest itself. He is the energy that flows through all vegetation, from the mosses that cover the forest floor to the most majestic of trees that make up the forest canopy. He is ancient, appearing before man, even before Faerie, fecund, virile, and dangerously alive. He can eventually reclaim any space on terra firma where man has left his mark. In our world, he is an energy to be tamed, conquered, shaped to fit our needs and aesthetics. In the fairy realm, the green world, he is the lifeblood that flows through everything. When the green man appears in a reading, the most important thing to do is acknowledge him in your everyday life. Oh, I love this. So this right here is it's more of this. So just take a look at the progression of what has happened in this reading. So we've got the sword that cuts straight through all of that I just keep wanting to say BS. Like I just want to say it's cutting through all of that bullshit that is not serving you, the thought patterns that are no longer for you. Old junk. Rewire. This is the rewiring. But then look at what's coming through that crack. This crack. Look at what's coming through. And it's reminding me of when you see weeds and moss and all that coming up through the cracks in the sidewalk, or when buildings have been basically taken over by nature, reclaimed by nature. So here it is, that cracking open allow this life force of the forest to really just come through all of your cracks. Just let it come through. If you start growing moss out your nose, I will know that you're doing this and I will be proud of you. And you will be the weirdest outlaw that anybody's ever seen. But we'll be very supportive because heck yeah, you're doing your own thing, growing moss out your nose. I am so proud of you. I can't wait to do that myself. So here, this energy is really just the energy of earth, of earth, and that never-ending life force energy, never ending. I have to say it's one of these things that even if humans were to be like completely destroy everything, Earth would continue to be okay. Earth would still be fine. And so, really, it's just us wanting to also be fine. And so, how do we be fine? We let Earth actually grow through us, and then we will be fine. So that's what we got today. That's what we've got today. And I'm so happy that you guys were here hanging with me again after a little break. I really appreciate all of your love and your support because, you know, this is just such a small, teeny tiny channel, but I do feel the love of all of you. And yeah, it really made me excited to come back and keep doing this. Because every now and then you have these ideas of like, well, is this what I really should be doing with my time? And the truth is that yeah, I love doing this with you guys. I love showing up here and expressing my own weirdness with you in my own way. And I promise to just get weirder and weirder and weirder because that's just what's gonna happen. Because I mean, why stay normal? That's not fun. So, yeah, I'm excited to see all of your weird and how you staple your life back together after cracking open. And yeah, um I guess I'll do that thing where I say, like do the like thing because I guess that helps the algorithm get this out to other people and subscribe because then that also makes our little community grow. And it would be great to find more weirdos like you out there in the ethers that want to do this with me, with us. Because your energy, my energy, we're just creating this weird little whirlpool of interesting strangeness. And I think it makes the world more interesting and magical along the way. So, that being said, I guess I will see you next time. Happy full moon, everybody. Happy Lion's Gate, whatever that means to you. I would love to hear your thoughts on what Lion's Gate means to you. And I'll see you very soon. All right, bye.